Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 23rd of November 2016. How is everybody doing? I just put out a video in regards to Thanksgiving and possibly some of the events that may cross your doorstep. So I hope that you stand in your truth and enjoy your day and, of course, your meal, because it's a reflection of you, and it should be love. Why? Because love is nothing but an extension or a representation of God. Gotta have that coffee. So, as I've been trying to put these videos out, because there is a method when it comes to the madness of why. And I wasn't going to let the cat out of the bag, but I will let you know this. As we progress to the end of this year, I have to go into hiatus. That means Gerald's videos are just going to be here, speaking my truth, placing God first in everything I do, hoping but praying for your happiness. And I hope that if you're not doing anything, if there's a video I haven't seen, stop on by. And with every video, it's made of love and compassion and optimism, because it's for you with everything. Each one teach one is what they said. Share them. If there's somebody that you know that these words can place a perspective on their life, every one of them. But at the end of the day, we are required to do our work. And to do our work, we must honor and respect our purpose. Because, see, that is one of the questions, one of the proverbial questions that mankind, you, me, even the neighbor, we all ponder at one time. Why are we here? What is the reason I'm seeing it? And why does it have such an impact on my decision making? Why am I receiving this validation or knowledge? There are 7.2 billion people on the planet, y'all. But there's only one you. So with that being said, there's work that has to be done. See, there's no life in stagnation, but death. And you got a whole lot of life. Whole lot. So it depends on when you decide to ease on down that yellow brick road, because that was a metaphor for the golden gates, God, heaven. Peace on earth is peace of mind. But unfortunately, there are those that fall short. There are those that actually believe that their life was meant to carry a burden that was never theirs to begin with, to convince them not to see their worth and value that is expressed by every breath. I refuse to believe that, because you have endless possibilities right here. You can be anything you choose to be when you decide to ground your feet and claim it. That's what manifestation is all about, y'all. You are what you become. So does it surprise you when you see the contrary of your reality now or in the past. As your life is like the tide, it ebbs and flows twice, 24 hours. So how's that pertain to me? I'm patient. I know that there is a requirement of work that I have to do. And everything that you see will be forever changed. Except for my heart, except for my spirit. Because what you see is what you get. But with that said, the work still has to be done. Every person has a journey. Everyone has a story. It is to some their testimony, to others their legacy, but it still starts from within. How the interpretation of the display is built on your actions. So tell me again why you don't feel that you deserve to be loved. Tell me again why you believe that your dreams are unattainable. Tell me again why you actually believe that you were sent here to be the sacrifice. And I'll show you a person that doesn't see their worth. I'll show you a person that has allowed their fear to rob them of their time. And I'll show you a person that desperately needs to go within. How about loving you? See, if you allow someone to paint what you know is your reality, the brush strokes and the textures and the context of your day-to-day, how can you see worth? How can you understand the patterns that make your empowerment compared to your enablement? You can't. Because there's no ownership there. There's no investment there. There's only possession. Who am I talking to? And here's a travesty in it all. While you're sitting there saying, not me, you silently are asking for one more day, borrowed time, a deeper understanding. When in actuality, it was already there, just not claimed. So, while you're sitting over there and listening on bated breath about what the latest tea is, I say, it's time for you to stir them grits. Because even with a pot of grits, it becomes solid. What's at stake is your foundation. Not the efforts that it took to make the foundation, because you got to stand on it. It's the makings of you. It always has been. So while you listening for the tea, I say stir the grits and go within. Yes, it's going to require you to do something you never did before. How about courage? Maybe it's time that you're going to say, you know what? My money's been funded for a long time, and I can choose to usher in a new year because we're in the holiday season, because I know a lot of you are going to proverbially write checks and cash that you can't cash emotionally. You're going to make concessions and deals with people that will only squander it. While you're looking and listening for the tea. I say stir them grits. Now, you have a choice. You can accept your condition, or you can make change. If you choose to remain in your condition, well, guess what? You won't find peace of mind. You won't find appreciation, but you'll find a whole lot of delay. And guess what? That's what's representing you. And we know that's a disservice because you deserve to be happy. When's the last time you seen your smile? When's the last time you actually had the courage to tell you love you? See, you shouldn't be feeling like you're in an emotional bubble in a reality that you deal with. If it don't feel right, it's not right. But it will remain until you decide to address it. Now, we all know that there are those people that place possessions over emotional safety, and they won't say nothing. They'll keep on keeping it on, saying you ain't talking about me, but inside they are doing time in their mind and being disfranchised, and hope is nothing but a mere memory. And unfortunately, those people will go through life without seeing their purpose. They will not understand their direction, and they will steer clear from anything that will have their name on it. Why? Because it requires ownership. It requires you to acknowledge it exists. As I've echoed before, former President George Bush said, "We are ushering in the era of shock and awe as the bombs dropped over Baghdad." But I really think deep down inside, he was talking about the social climate that has been ever present since Desert Storm. Because does it seem like everybody's in a fog? Does it seem like everybody has a position of, you're not talking to me, but you're feeling the effects? I believe the moment that you decide to say, you know what, you're right, this isn't my tea, the filters will come off. The spiritual veil will be open. And you'll finally be able to return to that little boy or little girl that lives inside you. Who do you think is looking outside? That little boy or little girl that resides. So if you're tired of being tired, well, I want you to have the courage to do something about it. Just make sure it's not by way of defiling yourself, disrespecting yourself, or worse, choosing to socially barter your time and effort for something that is temporary. You think that your life is supposed to be, well, something to do. You're wrong. You're wrong. And that also should also get you to accept this. Why do you think you are seeing the setbacks that you're seeing over and over and over and over again? Number one is to get your attention, that that is not for you. And maybe consider that there is something better. Because God is a custom tailored God. He doesn't need your permission. He created you. So do you actually think he feels when you feel that, oh, I can't show my emotions, I'm weak? You'll come to understand the moment that you embrace your emotions, how strong you really were the whole time. Why do you think you feel a release every time the tears fall? But the question is, why are you crying where you don't find safety? You know, people actually will get in their car and drive away just to be real. It's kind of contradictory, don't you think? But that's what society wants you to do. Society wants you to have a condescending mindset of, I want the effect, but I don't want to invest. Only to be bewildered why it turned out that way. It turned out that way because it wasn't yours to begin with. Energy out is energy return. And I'm not making light of that. Because some, no matter how many mirrors you got, still cannot see the beautiful person looking back. 2017 is going to be a beautiful year. It's also going to be a year of awakening. And there are some that will dispel and say, nah, if I don't make it with my hands, it's not real. But next time you have that mindset, ask yourself this: why does my heart keep beating? Why is it when I'm sleeping, I still breathe? Why am I able to feel every limb that's attached to my body? You're going to need that for your journey. But what you're going to need more is to fall back in love with you. Because guess what? Spiritual storms are real. And everybody have to take a bended knee. And some have a quick descent. But you know what happens when those people who do fall, they realize how vulnerable they are with their mortality. But what's more impactful is the people that was there the whole time, you realize they never had your best interest. Do not embrace that. Behold what is being shown. And what you think may be your punishment, it's just making room for what should have been there the whole time. Now, you actually think your life is to walk around frozen? How about numb? How about a loveless connection? Why? How can you connect to something that you can't feel? Maybe that's the reason why it hurts even more when you try to hold on to it. You can't hold on to something that was never yours to begin with. But you know what? I've got people, family, that all want one thing. And that's to be respected, treasured, inspired, and most importantly, protected. Who am I talking to? Hey, Queens, let me tell you something. When you get tired of those shenanigans, you'll take off the props. When you finally have courage to let that little girl out who was oh so beautiful, watch your life change. Because where love is, pain is not. And guess what? Love never dies. transforms. Maybe that's the reason why you're thinking about him. But in actuality, you're with him. Guess what? God doesn't do substitutes. Nor are you supposed to settle. All God asked you to do was to prepare. Because from a literal standpoint, the person that will unlock the other side of your life will be your mirror. So why does it feel like you are walking through hell now? But see, that's what the devil wants you to think. That's why he keeps giving you what you want. But the contradiction is they don't claim you. They just choose to use you. The energy you put out ends up being the lesson you'll have to master. So guess what? If she's lying to you, it's because you're lying to you. If he's stealing from you, it's because you stole from them. The roles reverse until they're mastered. So I know there's some people going to be offended. What should be offended is the burden that you're carrying that's not yours, because you don't have the courage to acknowledge what is being shown right before you. So y'all, don't trip, because you already got people. Some you know, and some that you have to work with, and some people that somehow maneuvered a way into your life. They're going to show you some things. All I can say to you is keeping it real is loving yourself. Not the tricks you know behind the scenes. Not how deep your pockets is. Because we can already say, let's go there real quick. How many examples do we have to show that doesn't matter how much money you've got? How many examples do we have to show that doesn't matter how much money you spend to try to change the outside? If the inside ain't right, it's never enough. And really, when you think about it, you basically are spitting in the face of who you really are. And that's such a shame. Because what you fail to realize is while you're studying and waiting for the tea, there's work still required. Think of it this way. Your life is like a train track, and you are the locomotive. You are the motivation why the wheels keep turning. Well, guess what? If your end destination is your happiness, where your dreams come true, you got to be able to feed that motivation so you get there. You never hear about them putting anything else needed to fuel the momentum of that train. Why? Because it has to be real. But if you allow your environment to define what is consumed, does it matter? Or does it surprise you? You are stuck. If they keep telling you the same thing they've always told you, you can't point the fingers at them, because you aren't them. But you do something different. And watch them act up. You do understand there are people that just wait. They want your demise to validate their insecurities. They will never take ownership for what they've done. And that's why they run for the hills. You know why? Because when you see them or they see you, you are a representative of what failure to get the job done looks like, made by way of a disappointment. How about a betrayal? Or incomplete? This is no shade to you. It just shows you how unique you were the whole time. It also shows you what they lack. So what you gonna do? You gonna grind your feet? If you're dreaming about your dreams, why don't you stand up and take that step too? I'm just saying. Because I'm gonna tell you what, there are plenty of people that will tell you anything just to keep you distracted and will never have your true intent. But these are the same people, when you fall, they'll watch you fall too. God's got something about them. But you got to acknowledge what is needed so he can give it to you. I'm just saying. 2017 is coming, y'all. Will you be prepared? God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your work. And for that, it helps me discern mine. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't be feeling what you're feeling right now. Maybe now, this moment, is the moment you're about to claim what was rightfully yours. Be blessed, y'all. Peace.